Seneca, in his work De Ira, called anger a short madness. He warned us that to be ruled by that fleeting madness is to surrender our reason and dignity. For him, a person consumed by rage is no different from someone who has lost their mind, only the madness is temporary. He reminded his readers that nothing leads to regret more quickly than decisions made in anger. Marcus Aurelius, writing in his private journal during long nights of war and plague, kept reminding himself that other people act wrongly out of ignorance. His question was simple but piercing. If they act from blindness, should I lose my clarity by being angry at them? He wrote these words not for us, but for himself. Yet centuries later, those lines have become a guide for all of us. Anger belongs to the other person, but clarity must remain ours. These insights are not distant words from dusty philosophy books. They are practical instruments for training the mind. James Stockdale, a U.S. fighter pilot shot down during the Vietnam War and held captive for 7 years, later wrote that Stoic discipline was what preserved his dignity through years of torture and isolation. He could not control his prison cell, the pain, or the uncertainty of survival, but he could control his response, his inner stance, and his refusal to let despair master him. If dignity could be preserved in a prison camp, surely it can be preserved in an office cubicle, a tense meeting, or a family dinner. To bring Stoicism down from marble busts into daily life, let me offer 3 specific practices, clear, concrete, and measurable, that you can begin today. The first practice is the circle of control. Every time you feel irritation rise, ask yourself quickly, is this within my control? If it is not, let it go. If it is, take the smallest useful action you can. This is the compass of Stoicism, the dividing line that shows us where effort is wasted and where it bears fruit. Imagine you send an important email and don't receive a reply. Frustration builds. But step back. Can you control when that person responds? No. What can you control? You can clarify your message, you can call them, or move on to another task. One moment of clarity saves hours of mental agitation. This habit, if repeated, is like building a muscle. It redirects your energy from resentment to purposeful action. The second practice is what I call the 10-second rule. When emotions flare, stop. Inhale for 4 seconds, exhale for 6, count slowly to 10, and quietly say, I am angry. Naming the feeling separates you from it. It creates just enough space for reason to return. Neuroscience confirms what the Stoics intuited. Labeling an emotion reduces activity in the amygdala, the brain's alarm system, and gives the prefrontal cortex, the seat of judgment, a chance to step in. Seneca did not have brain scans, but he knew the human mind. Pausing shrinks anger's power. You can try this today, in traffic, in an argument, even in an email draft. The pause is not weakness, it is strength, disguised as silence. The third practice is called rehearsing hardship. Each morning, spend a single minute imagining something that might go wrong. A difficult meeting, a traffic jam, a harsh word from a colleague. Then picture yourself responding calmly. When the event arrives, you are not ambushed. You have already rehearsed. Marcus Aurelius called this premeditation a way to rob fortune of its sting. In modern terms, it is like mental training. You are inoculating yourself against surprise. Instead of saying, "Why me?" you can say, I expected you, and I know what to do. To make these practices more than passing ideas, commit to a 7-day challenge. Each evening, write a single line in a notebook. Today, I used the 10-second rule X number of times. Did my anger lessen? This logbook becomes proof of progress. You don't need long essays, just one honest line per day. Over a week, you will see the shape of your growth, just as Marcus saw his through his nightly journaling. Calm is not built in one night, but it compounds like interest when practiced daily. Let me share a concrete story. A team leader once lost control in a meeting. He shouted at a client, spoke harshly, and within days, the company lost a major contract. That one outburst rippled into financial strain and strained relationships at home. Later, humbled by the loss, he adopted these very techniques, pausing, naming his feelings, journaling each evening. At his next tense meeting, instead of erupting, he paused and asked a clarifying question. That small shift not only saved the deal, but won the client's respect. The difference between ruin and recovery came down to a 10-second pause. This is not abstract philosophy, it is survival wisdom for modern life. Here's an important reminder. The goal is not to erase emotions. The Stoics never argued for becoming stone or steel. The goal is freedom from being enslaved by emotions that, left unchecked, dictate our choices. Anger is not evil in itself, it is a signal. The real question is whether you will obey it blindly or see it clearly and choose wisely. Will you be dragged by the river's current, or will you steer your own boat? That choice, repeated moment after moment, defines your character more than any title or possession. If these practices resonate with you, I invite you to make a small public commitment. Type the word calm in the comments. That single word becomes your pledge to try this for 7 days. A public pledge, however small, builds accountability and strengthens resolve. And if enough of you join, I will create a follow-up series, daily guided exercises, one for the workplace, one for family, one for handling sleepless nights. Together, we can build not just knowledge, but a practice, a community of people training for steadiness in a noisy world. Let us return to the 3 pillars. First, distinguish what you can and cannot control. Second, create a pause so reason can re-enter. Third, rehearse hardship before it arrives. Practice these daily and your life will shift. Decisions become clearer, relationships become less volatile, your mind ceases to be hostage to every provocation. Seneca reminded us that no one becomes wise in one day, but with each day of practice, we move closer to inner freedom. If you found value here, subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the 7-day Stoic training series. This journey is not a one-time fix. It is a way of living, a way of reclaiming your inner ground each day. The journey begins with one small act right now. Take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and remember, at every fork in the road, you have the power to choose calm over explosion.